Well, greetings, imagination connoisseurs. Welcome to the Best Sound movie-related show on YouTube that isn't on my YouTube channel. It's right here on the John Campea channel, and I'm your host, your Duke of Dope Discourse, Mr. Robert Meyer Burnett. And welcome. I'm just here with Jonathan Voico.
It's just us two ducks. Whoa, I got our phone on here.
All right.
But anyway, yeah.
It's going to be a fun show. I get thrown into the deep end all the time. I've barely been back, and now I'm hosting the show. By the way, I'm not taking over. I'm filling in for John. John's gone up north, and I'm just here in the hot seat, here for you. Everybody that watches our channel, you people that have supported us for years, Jonathan. Years.
Oh, over decades.
Decades. Well, you know what? In April, it'll be my 10th anniversary streaming with John.
That's crazy.
Isn't that nuts? And here we are. It's just me and Jonathan. It's a sausage fest today, but we got some great news. We got some great things to talk about. What are we going to talk about today, Jonathan?
All right. First, we're going to do a little housekeeping. Of course, you guys know you guys can send in tips, and at the end of the show, we'll address those tips. Here's the link. Simply send those questions to streamelements.com/JohnCampea/tip. You can do those now. You can do those anytime, 24 hours a day. If you happen to be watching or listening on our podcast, we appreciate it. It's growing numbers day by day, week by week.
Gotta love that.
So check out our podcast. You can find us on Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. You can find us there. But of course, send your links right here, your tips right here to this link, and we will answer those questions after these main topics.
What are our main topics? I mean, we got some good ones. We got some juicy
right.
topics today. We do.
Today, Netflix released their Next on Netflix 2025. Now, last year they did this, and it was cool. It was just a long montage of like some scenes of their upcoming shows. But this year, they did something a little different. I really appreciated it. And I thought, you know what? I'll just have this up. I won't play it because I don't want to get demonetized here, but we can go clip by clip a little bit here. Robert, watch.
This is an amazing, this is totally beautifully produced. A lot of visual effects in this.
Yeah.
Where this unnamed character, this bored salary woman, gets in. It's sort of an Alice in Wonderland dream sequence where she goes through all of Netflix big shows.
Yeah. And at first I'm watching this, I'm like, oh,
it's
okay.
Really
so
cool.
She's so into like Netflix, she's like just floating. I don't understand.
The Netflix sound, but
yeah, I was like, this is a little creepy.
Wakes everybody up.
As soon as the lights flickered, you hear that music and you're like, boom, Stranger Things. So she's in the Stranger Things world now. So I thought, well, that's cool. It's going to be kind of Stranger Things centric. I had no idea what we had in store for us. So, out comes the little Demogorgon, and he kerplows her through I thought this was kind of hysterical. He just slams her through the wall.
It is, yeah. And I'm looking at all the little details, like the different books,
right?
That are we can see Frankenstein.
All these details.
It's really well done. Well done.
Now she's suddenly in Squid Games.
Yeah.
Third most watched series on Netflix. She looks up. Sees the Squid Games people. They're like, oh, come and play. I love this part. I don't know if I can catch the timing on it, but
and they announced this in June, July that Squid Games season 3 is coming.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. She's like, no thanks to that game. Peace out. And now I'm not sure what this one was when she walks through this door. Is this Black Mirror? Okay.
Yeah, it could very well have been.
So this was Black Mirror. Okay. And
maybe
then she says, yeah, peace out to you too. Not interested. We get a little more Squid Games, and then she's in the elevator. She gets knocked knocked through a lot of stuff, but she gets knocked right into Wednesday, the TV show.
Which is really, it's very, very cool.
I loved it. And now she's Wednesday, the detail that they put, they make enough money, so I guess we know where subscribership is.
Whoever directed this did a great job directing.
Absolutely.
This as a commercial. It's really, really cool.
Yeah.
Really impressive.
Now, I don't know if this is more Squid Games or what this was from.
Yeah, I didn't know the lasers. Like, what am I missing here? Is it Squid Game? I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure. But she comes out here, and what is she doing? She's now in Cobra Kai.
Cobra Kai.
And the music changes to a little bit more of a rock style thing.
Yeah.
I loved. Okay, so she's fighting here.
It's very cool.
But I love this transition. This was very.
And then it's Emily in Paris.
This was a very Spielberg
Yeah.
Jaws beach scene transition where the foreground passes and something changes.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
I'll just play this right here. Boom. Now she's Emily in Paris.
Yeah, that was really nice.
Yeah.
Really well done.
And then again, she's like, see you later to all these people. She's very picky on what she wants to watch. She jumps off here and lands right on. Benoit Blanc is back on the case. Stack of newspapers. That'll save you from a skyscraper fall any day of the week. I don't care who you are. And now she's playing soccer. We got our Troll 2 up there. Some of these are just cameos, and some of these fit the theme. Obviously, Witcher, right? And onward and upward. We get a little bit of Electric State right there.
Electric State.
And then I wasn't sure what this one was, this hockey one, but she's playing hockey, and of course they make the most cameos in this because it's one of the most popular series.
Yeah, no, obviously,
and it's probably cheaper than doing a Stranger Things.
I can't, and then it gives you the name Happy Gilmore 2, maybe
all of this,
all that stuff.
And I'll just stop it.
And then they also dropped a number of new trailers for like in the same hour. They dropped a bunch of trailers for upcoming shows, foreign shows, modern shows, new shows. So Netflix has definitely gone all in. This is, I don't know if this is their equivalent of a Super Bowl spot. I mean, it has nothing to do with the big game, but
you read my mind though. We'll discuss this in a little bit.
Yeah.
But Netflix is going to be obviously absent, and we'll talk about that next. But I think we know why.
This was definitely they spent the money that they would spend on a Super Bowl spot on this. So
I think wisely. I think
I do too. It was fun. I'll watch it again just because it was fun.
And what's weird is Netflix is currently the one thing I'm not subscribed to.
Oh really?
But man, it's really getting. I think once Stranger Things gets back on the air, I'm gonna resubscribe.
Yeah,
I'm just waiting. Anyway,
and each episode of Stranger Things is like feature length. Mm-hmm. What's not to love? What's not to love? So what's next?
All right. So next up, we're going to talk about. We talked yesterday, as you all know. If you were here yesterday, we talked about the Super Bowl, February 9th coming up.
We speculated on which spots,
on which what trailers would and would not appear. Well, we have a little more information, more confirmation now, not speculation. So, comic book movie.com goes through some information they've got. First up says, of course, it's taking place Superdome at in New Orleans. February 9th. Okay. First up, just to let everybody know, we are not probably going to get any Superman footage from
no, from what I understand, they said that the two big games that was all they're going to give us.
That's it. And it says director James Gunn has already confirmed that we'll see something new from DCU Reboot, yes, but crypto related during the Puppy Bowl, which takes place on Animal Planet, I believe, during the Super Bowl. So, Animal Planet, and it's crypto related, so it'll be a cute little promo there. But
I bet they'll drop something pretty juicy within that crypto.
Maybe so, but
something that's going to make us go, oh.
But even so, I'm sure you could just tune into YouTube for that if that's the
That's
case.
all I need. More things to fill up my Twitter feed with people that are yelling at me about one thing or another.
Oh, yeah. Well, I just tune those people out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, I can't wait for James Gunn's Superman. I can't wait.
Yeah. But moving on. So we also have some Disney confirmation here. Now, this is interesting because yesterday I said Snow White made the most sense in terms of what it's their next big property. It's coming out. It's a huge audience, but it's not their demographic. So John and I both kind of thought Snow White is probably a no-go, but this confirms Snow White and Lilo and Stitch will both have trailers. And Pixar's Elio, that was one thing nobody mentioned yesterday was Elio.
No, totally
that I
forgot
recall.
about that.
It could have been, the chat probably mentioned it, but I don't think we did. Pixar needs some love, and I don't think a lot of people know that Elio is coming out.
No, they need to promote. I was thinking that they need to promote Elio. I mean, Pixar hasn't let us down. Inside Out 2 is one of the biggest movies of last year.
And I love.
They're on a roll.
Yeah, and I loved that in that last Elio trailer, it was Postal Service's "We Become Silhouettes" is playing.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to that. I mean, look, I've always loved Pixar. I think everybody loves Pixar, and we'd like to see them. They made a mistake. I thought made a mistake putting Pixar movies on Disney Plus exclusively. Now it's good to see them back in the theater and dominating the box office. So good on Pixar.
Yeah, because I loved Soul.
I loved
Soul.
I loved Soul.
Yeah. And then it goes on. It says, Marvel has some movies coming out. I don't know if you knew that.
Few.
Yeah. 3 to be specific. And yesterday we speculated that probably only 2 out of the 3 were going to get some love yesterday on
yeah,
the Super Bowl.
but I look, I don't think they're going to show a Fantastic Four trailer now. They need, if the rumors are true, they need all the help they can get to make Brave New World open big. And I think we're going to get some more stuff from Brave New World.
Yeah. So it mentions, of course, Brave New World, Thunderbolts, Fantastic Four. Here's my quick thoughts on it. I think they would be foolish not to introduce us to Fantastic Four because it is the one of the 3 we've seen nothing from.
Right.
And everyone's going to run to YouTube to watch the full trailer and to dive into those. And then Monday morning, all the pundits are going to be talking about the trailer for Fantastic Four. So while I understand what you're saying, I think one of the 2 is definitely Fantastic Four. I think you can't deny that exposure. And then obviously, then it goes Thunderbolts and Brave New World. And this is where I agree with you. I actually would venture to say that we're not going to get Thunderbolts because Brave New World comes out 3 days after the Super Bowl. It is the very next thing to appear.
Right.
And there is a lot of like weird things going on, at least in our bubble. And the people outside of our bubble don't know there's anything or that it was even reshot or anything like that.
Right.
But is the next thing. Here's what they could do. This could be a little wrong. We could be getting Fantastic Four and Thunderbolts, and we could be getting a 15-second spot that is literally just flashes of action from Captain America Brave New World in theaters Thursday or February 13th, whatever that is. And then that's it for that. But full trailers for the other 2. I don't know.
I mean, look, Fantastic Four is kind of a ways. It's July, right? You got Thunderbolts in May. I don't know. I still think the thing is they still need... I don't know. I mean, maybe they'll give us Fantastic Four. I think you could be right about that, but I do think that they really need Brave New World to make as much money as they possibly can have it make. And I think that the Super Bowl would be the place to get, the normies. Everybody, they're not watching movie YouTube, so
yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if they have another trailer for Brave New World that focuses in some different way than the trailers we've already seen.
Well, because all we've seen is the same stuff.
Right.
It's literally
the same stuff. And then Thunderbolts 2 is the next one coming out where I think they're really going to start hitting hard Fantastic Four closer to May, closer to summer. But I don't know. We'll see. And they're saying there might be trailers for all 3. Who knows?
They really cannot. Even if they do 2 out of 3, they really, in my opinion, can't do wrong.
No. And look, to be honest, I am excited about Marvel coming back. These 3 films, these are MCU films.
Yeah.
I've loved all the Captain America films are kind of the Tiffany standard for the MCU. I mean,
I think it's my favorite trilogy within the MCU.
Yeah, I think so too, by a wide margin, actually.
Followed by Guardians.
Absolutely. But I think that even Guardians is sort of MCU adjacent. I mean, they're in the MCU, but they're kind of on. Whereas Captain America, look, the thing about Iron Man is Iron Man began the MCU, but the heart of the MCU is Steve Rogers, I think. And then the Captain America character. And then, he leads the Avengers. And I think that's why they've promoted Sam Wilson, whether you like that or not. I love Anthony Mackie's performance. I can't wait to see what they do with this movie. Please be good. I want it to be good. I love those political thrillers. Harrison Ford's the president. I wonder if he's going to say, "Get off my plane." Is there going to be a plane before he hulks out? I don't know. But he's probably not going to say that. But it'd be cool if he did. I don't know. I want it to be good. I want Thunderbolts. I'm actually getting more and more excited for Thunderbolts the more or the closer we get to it.
I am all in on Thunderbolts.
And then, I love those characters, and I really can't wait to see what they do with Fantastic Four.
Every time I think about the Thunderbolts trailer, the one thing I think about is that little like magnetic bomb on the back of the thing, and US Agent going, yeah,
yeah, that's it. Yeah, no, it's. I mean, I think that the chemistry of all the actors in Thunderbolts is going to make it a lot of fun.
And I
hope they don't lean too far into the camp aspects of it all. I hope they make it. But I do look, I love Florence Pugh and I do love Wyatt Russell. And I really hope that this team, it has the potential to be the Guardians of the Galaxy on Earth. So instead of being cosmic, we get a great team of ass kickers that gel well together. But I don't know what the plot is. People talk about, well, Sentry's going to be in it, and what does the asterisk mean at the end of Thunderbolts on the title? I'm really intrigued because I don't know what that movie's about. So I'm excited to find out more about it. Give us a new trailer. Just I just want it all. Give it all to me.
Yeah.
Why can't I have what I want?
Does Red Agent get his food delivery after all?
Does he?
We'll find out. But further on, Universal's going to have some love at the Super Bowl. Someone mentioned this yesterday. We did not. How to Train Your Dragon is going to get it. We're going to get our first full glimpse, not just that teaser. And then, of course, we did mention Jurassic World Rebirth. Both of those make obvious sense. I think How to Train Your Dragon is going to be massive, and I think I'm looking forward to this trailer. Here's one I did not think because of budget. Blumhouse's Megan 2.0
I know.
Says it's likely. That's not confirmed, but likely.
Are we going to get a new dance move?
So we'll talk about.
I mean, it's Megan. Is she going to dance?
Here's my thing. I wonder if they do a little bit of a different. If they do a Super Bowl centric Megan, it's not the trailer.
Right.
It's a Super Bowl Megan related.
I could see that
thing.
Yep.
And then a picture in picture with just some images from the film saying full trailer on YouTube now.
Yes. I'm looking forward to that. I liked Megan. I thought Megan was pretty good.
Yeah.
By the way, this is an unpaid announcement, an unpaid commercial. Everybody should go see Companion. I read the script for Companion. I have high hopes. I had a friend of mine who went to I guess it was the AMC mystery movie.
Oh, you know what? I'm supposed to see it today.
Is that what you're supposed to see today?
Later today. Yeah.
Today? Yeah. Oh, because it's Thursday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking it's Wednesday. It's Thursday.
A friend of mine who our tastes align. He went to see Companion, and he said he howled through the whole movie. He said he had a great time, that the movie delivers, and he wished he'd watched less trailers for it. But Companion, I love the script. I read the screenplay, and the screenplay was a hoot. So I'm really looking forward to this film, and I believe that the writer-director of Companion was just hired to write. I read this morning, and now I'm drawing a blank. So how does that make me look live on YouTube? Not good. But it's some big film. He's been tapped to write a big movie. And
all right, this is the writer of
writer-director of Companion.
All right, maybe someone can look that up while we're doing.
I'm sure it's in the trades. It's on Deadline or something.
But talking about Jack Quaid, who is in Companion, so Paramount's going to get some love here too. I was surprised by this. Now, John was mentioning yesterday you want that rough and tumble demographic,
right?
But I was like, yeah, but does Paramount want to spend $8 million for Novocaine? Apparently so. Apparently Novocaine. And then a Smurfs animated musical, did not know that was a thing.
No, didn't know it was a thing either. And it never will be a thing in my house.
And of course, Final Reckoning. But thoughts on Novocaine? I mean,
Novocaine looks really good. It looks like a hoot. I can't wait to see that. And Ke-Huy Quan, his movie too. I mean,
now that was one I thought maybe we'd see.
They look like they're going to make a great double feature. Yeah, I don't think we're going to get a trailer for that, but I hope that movie's good. And yeah, so this is exciting.
So,
look, we're going to get some great trailers. I can't wait. What are they going to do? I want to know what Jurassic Park Rebirth is.
Yeah.
Like I want the whole world to be overrun by dinosaurs. Like the whole ecosystem that is required to keep dinosaurs surviving. I wish it would take over the world. The planet's transformed. What are we going to do? Make it really apocalyptic and having dinosaurs eating people. How about that?
And ninjas.
Yeah. Ninjas going after that actually.
Oh no, not going after ninja
riding
ninja caretakers.
Ninja. So
oh,
there you go.
They ride them and yeah.
That
like
I would like.
Riders.
I would. I'm all in. Because the only thing better than ninjas in movies is dinosaurs. Yeah. So there you go.
So wrapping this segment up, we're going to talk about who's not going to be there. Sony Pictures, which surprises me because Sony Pictures has Paddington. I mentioned yesterday, Karate Kid, Legends.
Yeah.
No love for that. 28 years later, no love for that. So I thought one of those three were going to be featured, but apparently not.
No.
Warner Bros. And now that's Sony. Now Warner Brothers is also absent, which surprises me because they've got a little thing called Mickey 17 coming out. They've got Alto Nights with Robert De Niro.
And Robert De Niro.
Yeah, and Robert De Niro. Now, I know Sinners just came out, so I didn't expect that, but I thought maybe a Minecraft movie one more time. But,
yeah.
But Alto Nights and Mickey 17 and F1 were surprising to me.
Yeah, especially F1 because being that it's sports related. I mean, I can see that. These are expensive spots.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they're going to keep that stuff closer to the vest until closer to release date. I think we're going to see, unless you have a giant tentpole property, I think trailers are going to start dropping closer to the release date of the movies themselves.
Yeah.
They're not going to be promoting these gigantic tentpole movies are the ones that are going to be, we're going to see them way out, but closer, within 3 months of a movie instead of 6 months.
Right. So then obviously Lionsgate is also absent from that. I didn't think they wanted to spend $8 million for 30 seconds.
Yeah.
And then our streamers.
Unless it was a Hunger Game movies, why would they do it?
Yeah. And then, of course, our streamers, Apple and Amazon, which I know they're not going to be really promoting much there. I feel like Apple of late has become a little gun shy.
Yeah. They've been spending tons of money on movies that aren't doing great at the box office.
Yeah. All right. So look, guys, there you go. There's our trailers of what we will see, probably see, and won't be seeing. What do you guys think about that? What are you looking forward to? Throw it down in the comments below, and love to hear what you say. So moving on from that, we've got, what do we got? Here we go. Little James Bond talk.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. Well, recently we've had inflammatory comments from Barbara Broccoli saying the people over at Amazon were effing idiots. And they couldn't land on where they wanted to go in a direction for James Bond. Yesterday, someone had asked, "What's more likely, a casting for Batman or casting for Bond?" I'm leaning Batman.
Yeah, I think we all agreed it was going to be Batman.
And now we have a report saying James Bond reboot reportedly planning a divisive move to appeal to younger audiences. The report goes on to say the future of James Bond has claimed that while discussions are still ongoing. Let me move this over a little bit because we can't see it all. Sorry about that, guys. Just a little thing here real quick because I want you to be able to read it.
Okay.
Here we go.
The plan is to take the beloved action franchise back to the days of quips and camp.
Yeah.
First of all, Jonathan, I'm a lifelong Bond fan. Mm-hmm. The quips and camp era of Bond really began in the latter half of the Sean Connery films. You could say that You Only Live Twice, Diamonds Are Forever. Those movies became a little quippy. And then we get into the Roger Moore era. There's just outright comedy.
Yes.
And people, you have Live and Let Die, Man with the Golden Gun, Spy Who Loved Me, which is my favorite Roger Moore Bond film. And then by the time you get to Moonraker, it gets goofy.
I mean, it had already gotten goofy, but that was the jump the shark for me.
Totally. But here's my problem. As somebody who's loved the Bond franchise, there is a weird idea that I don't know where it's come from, that they need to appeal to younger audiences because these older franchises, remember there's 25 official Bond movies, and then there's other movies like Never Say Never Again. But the Bond franchise began in 1962 with Dr. No. It was based on Ian Fleming's series of books, Cold War thrillers. President Kennedy famously loved the Bond books. They were serious spy thrillers. But this idea that people seem to have, we need these older franchises, whether it's Doctor Who, whether it's Star Trek, whether it's Star Wars, which is going to be 50 years old in 2 years, or James Bond, we have to appeal to the kids. Here's what I don't like about that kind of thinking. And if they're saying that right now, do you know what appealed to me when I was a kid? James Bond, as James Bond existed, Sean Connery in Goldfinger, or You Only Live Twice, or Thunderball, or Dr. No, or From Russia with Love. As a kid, I loved them. Why is it, do you think, that everybody believes that, we have to go after the kid audience, and by doing that, then dumb down? I think the implication is we have to make them hipper than thou, and they call it memeable content. And you were saying something really interesting about this. Memeable content, you can't make something to be memeable. That's like setting out to we're going to make a Rocky Horror Picture Show.
It can't be prefabricated.
No.
It has to be natural. And by the way, those young audiences, they can smell a mile away if something's prefabricated or if it's real or if it comes like naturally from the source.
And when something becomes cool, when something comes out and becomes like a phenom, like Stranger Things, which was the Duffer Brothers, that was an original pastiche of the 80s. It had to be cool and awesome before anybody memed it. It has to capture the pop culture zeitgeist wave and ride it all the way into the shore before it becomes worthy of a meme.
Here's the problem. They're listening to the marketing team first when they should be listening to the creative team first. They should be taking in directors and getting ideas and writers and getting ideas of where it can go. Instead, they've got the marketing team over at Amazon saying, this is how we want to promote it. Make this. And they got the cigar. They're like, see, kid, we're going to go big places. See? It's like, dude, back out. We'll make the product. You market it.
But when they say, when somebody says we have to go to the quips version of James Bond, that means what? You're dumbing it down?
Which is so patronizing.
It's so patronizing. And already you've said to kids or younger people, hey, and by the way, what is driving content on platforms like YouTube? User-generated content. The audience are the creators.
Right.
And the thing is, people like us and like all of the myriad other YouTube creators here in this YouTube film Twitter space, call it what you want, we're the ones generating this content, and we want things that are good, that aren't trying to pander. We want great writers, we want great characters, we want great stories. And if you build it like that cornfield in Iowa with a baseball diamond in it,
then this must be heaven.
They will come.
Yeah.
And you know what I hate this thinking. You know what this thinking is? It's dumb thinking. It's easy marketing speak that somebody wants to throw out in a meeting because they think it makes them sound profound or smart. No, it just makes you out of touch and old. And I know what out of touch and old is. Trust me. But I'm not out of touch when it comes to James Bond. James Bond works when he is badass and he is a character that, saves the world, beds a lady, and kills the bad guy. I mean, he lives a life that we can't even imagine, or that we'd like to imagine, unless you're a crypto baron and you can live that life yourself.
I know.
How do you become a crypto baron?
It takes a lot of patience and time and conning people.
I'm never going to be that guy.
Yeah.
I'm never going to be a Bond villain. I don't want to be Bond. I want to be a Bond villain. I want to be somebody that Bond deems worthy to take down. How do I do that?
Well, you know what? The people over at Amazon are trying to figure that out now. But it just seems like, here's an interesting quote I wanted to bring up too. All right. So the Bond franchise is like a plot of land, and Amazon is still building the foundations. Casting a star is far off as choosing curtains. Now, this remark is very streamer friendly. COVID means movies make less money at cinemas now. No, COVID did mean that. It has been in an upward trajectory at the box office. We're not at 2019 levels yet, but we will get there in the next maybe 2 years or so. So although that's true. Some of the most deceitful statements come veiled in truth.
Yeah, well, this thing, the Bond franchise is like a plot of land, and Amazon is still building the foundations. What they want to do is they don't want to put a James Bond movie in motion picture theaters.
Yeah.
They don't, motion picture theaters? What else goes in theaters? They don't want to put movies in theaters.
It's a real fine picture.
That's what Amazon doesn't want to do.
And that's what's veiled in that one line right there.
And that's part of what Barbara Broccoli calling them idiots is all about. I mean, Bond has always made money. And if you look at the last, Skyfall was $1 billion film. Its follow-up, Spectre, made something like $800 million. And No Time to Die made a little less than that, but still very, very substantial. These are at the high end of theatrical releases. And the idea that they're trying to figure out,
yeah,
we're going to pay you less money. We're going to figure out a lesser back end because we're just going to put it on streaming.
Well, I think, go ahead.
Well, I mean, that's inane. I mean, the Bond franchise, when it's at the top of its game, which it has been for pretty much the last 20 years, admittedly, I'm not a big fan of the Daniel Craig era. I loved Casino Royale, but the rest were sort of, and I'm a Quantum of Solace apologist, but the rest of the three movies, even though they made a lot of money, were too morose for me. I wouldn't mind seeing a few more quips and a little bit more fantastical Bond action.
So you're thinking more of like the GoldenEye era, maybe? Not so much Roger Moore?
No, I loved GoldenEye.
Yeah.
The only problem I had with GoldenEye was there's a whole 20-minute section where Bond isn't in it.
That's true.
But
I mean that tone.
Yeah, I thought that was a great tone. Give me some larger than life. I mean, Bond has to live the life of a crypto baron influencer. He's got to drive around in Manny Koshbin's cars. I mean, the Stradman, whatever. Somebody get him a Lambo. Why hasn't James Bond ever had a Lambo? I know.
It's Aston Martin, baby.
It's an Italian car,
well,
right?
Going off real quick, just to round this discussion out, where you mentioned their focus is streaming, I think this is kind of revealing. I'm not opposed to this, though, on paper. But it says, what of the plans of spin-offs reportedly caused the disagreement in the first place. Rumors so far have claimed that a Moneypenny project. On its surface, that could sound absolutely awful, but we had Jarvis, we've had Pennyworth, Batman's butler, whatever. There could be something to Moneypenny, and I know that sounds ridiculous, but it is impossible that she is just some secretary for the most secretive agency in the UK, right outside the doors of the head of that agency. What did she answered
A secretary ad?
A secretary ad in the paper? No. I'm not saying she needs to be like, oh, let's make Moneypenny like a fighter and she's got a military background. No, but she's been through things.
She was in the field in Skyfall.
And what I think might be interesting, just me speculating, is what if this is a hidden in plain sight situation? MI6 has fallen, and literally the last thing that they have is Moneypenny. She has codes. You know, that can unlock whatever, like assets or this or that or another thing or whatever. That she's actually like a hidden in plain sight asset. So I'm not saying she's going to go out and kick ass. I'm saying she's a high value asset.
You could. I just think that, the Bond, look, they want everything. Everybody wants to turn everything into a cinematic universe. Mm-hmm. And I've always said, the Burnett axiom is always put your characters before your universe.
Yeah. And they have to lead with that.
Yeah, they want to exploit it. I mean, why don't you concentrate on making your core character great? Mm-hmm. Let's do that, because otherwise, I mean, we have a John Wick spinoff coming out called Ballerina with Ana de Armas, who was great.
And we won't be getting an ad for that at the Super Bowl.
No, we won't. But no, she was great in No Time to Die. Mm-hmm. And one of the best things about that movie, unfortunately, you make a movie. Look, you're in trouble when you make a movie where your main character dies, and then in the end credits it says your main character will return. That's the problem where the Bond franchise is right now. I hope they, and that's true, by the way. It does say James Bond will return after he dies in No Time to Die. But I do think that Bond should come back, or is Bond, like M says in GoldenEye, you're a sexist, misogynist dinosaur, a product of the Cold War. Maybe James Bond should go away.
Maybe. Well, the only other spinoff they talk about here in this article is it's not really a spinoff. It's an Ian Fleming biopic. And I would be 100% down for an Ian Fleming biopic.
Yeah, because he was a really interesting guy.
Fascinating life.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's where we're at, guys, with Bond. I think to answer the question yesterday, you were going to get Batman casting before you even hear anything about James Bond. But what are your guys' thoughts? Are you still looking forward to Amazon's iteration of maybe a more memeable James Bond? I know Rob isn't.
No.
But how do you guys feel about this? Jump down in the comments below. Let us know. With that down, we're going to move on. The next up, and a little bit more Netflix talk, Squid Game. Netflix sets a premiere date for the third and final season, and it's a lot sooner than most of us would have thought. It says Squid Game is returning to Netflix sooner than you might have thought. The Korean smash will return to its third and final season on June 27th, not 2026, 2025. This is only 6 months after season 2 launched on the streamer on Boxing Day. While many expected the dystopian drama to perhaps get another Christmas bout, because at best we're trained like once a year, except if it's streaming, it's 2.5 years.
Yeah.
But no, because they filmed this back to back, they're actually going to be releasing this 6 months apart. What do you feel? How do you feel about that?
I'm excited. Look, I thought the end of Squid Game, I like Squid Game season 2 quite a bit, but the end, it like ended it wasn't even a cliffhanger. It was like midstream. It was like making out with a girlfriend in junior high school and her parents come home. It was like that. And you have to like crawl out a window really fast so you don't get discovered. That's how I felt Squid Game 2 ended that abruptly. And I was like, wait a minute, what? I wish they had a better ending, but you know what? It felt like it was the ending of a season in the middle. So it makes sense. It pretty much was. They filmed it all at once. They're splitting it into 2 seasons. Look, I can't wait to see what happens. Big goings on. And it did end, it felt a little apocalyptic. Our heroes were decimated at the end of Squid Game season 2. Mm-hmm. Where do you go from there? I don't know. So yeah. I'm excited to see, will the front man become victorious? I really loved him. I wish that they didn't take him away already, because now he goes back. He was a heel that did a turn, and now he's back to being a heel.
So yeah. So really, what this is not so much. I know they call it season 3, but really, it's almost like a part 2 of season 2.
Totally.
Right?
Totally.
Because these are the comments from the creator, director, and executive producer. He said, when I was writing the script for season 2, I felt like there was a big turning point or inflection point, and that was the end of episode 7, so I thought it would do it justice to have a separate season after that. That's why I had the first 7 episodes as season 2, and then the rest of season 3. Well, when you're the writer, director, executive producer of the 3rd most popular series on Netflix, I guess you get to do that.
You get to do that, or he was told to say that. But
Yeah,
I mean,
he was told to stretch that out.
that's not something you just decide to do.
No.
You know, because you have to block.
That's all worked out.
That they had to budget for those episodes and block out that time, and
Yeah.
So, but I'm excited. Look, I love Squid Game. I even like their competition Squid Game.
Yeah, the Squid Game challenge.
That was pretty good.
I'm looking forward to a second season.
I know. I want to see a second season of that. It was
And
good.
of course, in that trailer we saw, I mean, Squid Games took front and center. I think Squid Games, they said it's the 3rd biggest viewed series. So I'm assuming Stranger Things is in that one of 3.
Yeah, probably.
I can't imagine it's the 4th largest series. It has to be one of 3. So we'll see. But all right, guys, what do you think about that? Squid Games is coming to us in June. Boy, it's going to be like, you're going to be able to like delve into Squid Game season 3. And you got
Stranger
Superman coming to
Things,
theaters.
Superman. It's going to be good.
Four,
Ballerina.
Ballerina. We've got some good stuff coming to us in theaters and at home. All right, well, let us know what you guys think in the comments below. With that down, let's move on to this, our final topic. Daredevil, Born Again. There's a lot of questions about it. We know earlier this week we were talking about the showrunner, Dario Scardapane, who had some comments. I believe those comments were to try to hype audiences, and it backfired, where he was saying, it's not so much navel gazing. It's not two people talking in a room about what a superhero is. It's seeing, it's showing, not talking about it, which I can appreciate on a surface level, because there are times when some series you're like, when is anything going to happen in this? But we don't want it at the, and I think you'd agree with me, Rob, we don't want it at the loss of tension building drama with that underscore music building up a scene, and we don't want to lose that. We don't want to, as you said earlier, dumb it down, right?
No.
But now we've got Charlie Cox talking about when this series is going to be taking place, because it is in the same universe-ish as Netflix. And the article goes on to say, while Daredevil wasn't perfect, the series still delivered a stellar take on the man without fear. Charlie Cox was rightly praised for his work as Matt Murdock, following Defenders, which wasn't as great as we all wanted it to be. But season 3 was kind of like as it says here, a return to form. But ultimately, that show ended, and it's been many years. So talking to SFX, Cox explained how exactly this March's Daredevil Born Again picks up where Daredevil season 3 left off. He starts off by saying, we had to honor certain things about the original show, certain tonal aspects, which wasn't being done. For example, it wasn't very dark, and it is now. So he's talking about before it was reshot.
Yeah.
At times, it's incredibly sinister, incredibly brutal. These characters work best when they live in that world. But it doesn't feel like exactly the same. The pacing is different, which is kind of interesting. The identity has shifted. It's 6 years later. The kind of shows that people watch on television, they influence how you make a TV show. Now, that's a little interesting, but what are your thoughts on just that part? And we'll go on.
Well, I think what I love is it's almost like in real time from the end of the Netflix Daredevil to now. And it allows, we were talking about this earlier, it allows for life to have happened. So you can move forward. These characters have had 6 years to have things happen to them that we don't know about, that they can refer to, they can incorporate into the story. Wilson Fisk isn't he the mayor of New York now?
Yep.
So he's the mayor of New York. How did this happen? Matt Murdock can't be happy about that, but they've probably had 6 years of interchanges or exchanges between each other. He's had to put up with the rise of Kingpin to the mayor of New York. I like this idea a great deal. I like the fact that it kind of takes into consideration the continuity of the MCU, because if memory serves, isn't the MCU supposed to be in 2025 now? Like, wasn't it in 2025 pre Deadpool and Wolverine? I'm not sure.
Maybe someone in the chat. I mean,
yeah, somebody could tell me.
We've had a lot of time dilation, and my brain isn't quite where it needs to be.
Yes.
If you ask me where we're at in the MCU, I can't be the one.
Now it's the same year that everybody came back from the blip after Endgame, so it had advanced, into the future. So now I like this. I mean, I think it allows the course correction was a smart one. Kevin Feige knew to do that. And I think that I mean, if they had changed, I know John loves the Walk of Shame with Daredevil and She-Hulk, but if they were going to go in that direction, I don't think people would have liked what Daredevil had become. I think they did a great job, at least based on that last trailer, bringing the feel that everybody wants from Daredevil, both from the comics and from the 3 seasons of the Netflix series. So I have to tell you, I'm really excited for this. I like that they've allowed for a 6-year time jump because that gives there's a lot of potential storylines that aren't going to say contradict themselves because we don't know what that continuity is, and they can use it. They can fill in that time and make story points about it all. So I'm excited. I think they know what they're doing. I'm very excited to see this. It looks kick-ass. That trailer was awesome. And I look, if it's just Wilson Fisk and Daredevil himself, you know, if Matt Murdock and they're just in a diner the entire time, I would watch it. I know it's not going to be that way.
Well, and I think what's interesting about those comments from the showrunner is when he said, like, oh, we're not going to have 2 people in a room talking about a superhero is, and they lead off with that scene. I don't know. It's kind of funny. But
it's great stuff.
But, you know, just going off your comments, Cox is sort of on the same wavelength here. He says, the reason it feels like a hybrid of a season 4 and a season 1 is because enough time has passed where you can allow for enough of a reset and things don't really need to be explicitly on camera. Matt has come to the realization that maybe he underestimates collateral damage. And despite all the good he's been trying to do, how much has actually worked? How much has spawned? You created me. It's like Batman. It's like, would the Rogues Gallery exist if Batman didn't exist? It's that age-old question. Maybe he needs to put more time and energy into, you know, working as a lawyer. So, look, I mean, I know there's a lot of trepidation with those comments. I don't think we need to worry about those comments. I think we just got to take the show as what it is.
Yeah, it's good.
And I think I'm excited to see it.
Like anything else, it's coming down the pike. We're going to see it. We're either going to love it or not. We're going to talk about it incessantly on the internet.
Yeah.
I'm excited. Daredevil is indeed born again. I love that storyline when Frank Miller did it in the pages of the normal comic. I wonder if Nuke is going to be in this. I don't know.
We'll find out in March. It's coming. All right, guys. Well, look, let us know how you guys feel about Daredevil. Are you still a little trepidatious about it? Are you looking forward to it? Are you full steam ahead on it? Is it take it on a 1-episode basis, or how are you feeling? Let us know in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you. Now, guys, we're moving on to the second half of our show. So me and Rob are going to be answering your questions. Again, you can send your tips to streamelements.com, John Campea /tip. We'd love to hear from you. Also, if you guys are channel members, we put out every day a community post for our channel members. I did it today, saying leave your questions. If you want to add your question to that post as a channel member, we'll try to get to that as well. But before we go to our tips, we're going to hear from our sponsor of the day, Kikoff. See you guys in a little bit.
Guys, we want to take a second to thank a sponsor of today's video, Kikoff. January always feels like recovery mode, doesn't it? I mean, after all the holiday fun and, let's be honest, all the holiday spending, it can feel like a credit hangover. But don't worry, I've got the perfect solution to help you bounce back in 2025. Kikoff, the #1 credit building app in the App Store. Kikoff is a total game changer if you're looking to start building or improving your credit. Their plans? They start at just $5 a month. No credit check, no hidden fees, and no interest. Everybody's been there, guys. Trying to navigate credit can feel like a maze, but Kikoff makes it easy. You can sign up in minutes on your phone and be instantly set up with a credit line designed specifically for building credit, not for spending. And here's a fun fact. If your credit's under 600, you could jump around 28 points in your first month. It's that simple. Shake off the credit hangover and look forward to brighter credit with Kikoff. Get your first month for just $1 at getkikoff.com/Campea today. That's getkikoff, KIKOFF.com/Campea. Must sign up via kikoff.com/Campea to activate offer. Offer applies to new customers first month only. Subject to approval. Offer subject to change. Terms and conditions may apply. Points based on Equifax VantageScore 3.0 changes for Kikoff users starting under 600 who made their first on-time payment between January 2021 and March 2024. Payment and credit activity outside of Kikoff can have an impact on your credit. Individual results may vary.
All right. Well, wanted to thank our sponsors, Kikoff, for sponsoring us this week. And Rob, are you ready to answer some questions?
I am ready. Ooh, I'm ready and waiting to answer some viewer mail.
All right. Well, first up, we've got Curious George. Just reread the Rolling Stone expose about the numerous Jonathan Majors allegations, including from a different ex-fiancée. Rough read. Yeah, I'm going to apply the Kevin Spacey rule here. Sure, legally not guilty, but I'd rather spend my money elsewhere. I think a lot of people are going to have to make that decision.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm a big fan of Jonathan Majors as an actor. I think he's an incredible performer, but, that's not the real world. Acting is a job, and people have to be held accountable for their behavior. I haven't read the article yet, but there's been a lot of rough stuff coming out about people I admire, and people are deeply flawed.
Yeah. Okay, next up, we got Piero with a 3-parter. John, John's not here today, but we'll answer your question. I've been following you for 12 years. Well, then that means you've been following me for 11. I sometimes send in questions, but today I just want to thank you. You've been with me through so much while working out, studying, working, walking, even before bed. I often fall asleep to your show. Thank you for everything you and the crew have done. I always crack up when Jonathan drops his quick jokes. He should seriously consider stand-up. I did at one time in my life. I once gave a friend advice and quoted you, quoting John, if you listen to the fans, you'll end up sitting with them. He asked, who's this wise man? I said, that's John Campea. I followed him for years. Even though we work in different industries, I apply your insights to my music career. Hope you check out the Count of Monte Cristo series I recommended too. So some nice words there.
It's always good to hear when people are inspired by the work we're doing here, or the work John's been doing for 12 years and the work I'm doing everywhere else.
Yeah.
So that's good.
Yeah, you guys mean a lot to people for sure. Next up, we got Hank Pym. I'm going to a wrestling convention this weekend in Indy. I guess he means Indiana. During Royal Rumble, was shocked to see Paul Walter Hauser is a guest there. He really is everywhere. Maybe he's entering the Royal Rumbles. That's cool. I didn't know he was into the wrestling world.
Well, Hank, if you see him, tell him we here over at the John Campea Show love him. And ask him, how does he get to all the places he seems to show up in? What's his secret? Does he have like a sleigh like Santa Claus and he can bend space-time and get to wherever he's going? I want to know.
God, that would be amazing if he could spend warp time in space.
I know.
Green Ranger says, welcome back, Rob. It's like Tommy coming back to the OG squad as the White Ranger. Oh, man.
That's very nice of you to say.
Rest in peace also to Jason David Frank,
man.
But you and John are my modern day Siskel and Ebert. Love the chemistry you all have. It's what makes the show epic. Keep it filthy. Me personally, I'm chopped liver, but
I'm always keeping it filthy. I believe in that. But remember, when you're bringing the filth, always practice my first rule. Ladies first.
Oh, Indianapolis. Sorry, not Indiana. Indianapolis.
Indianapolis. Sorry. There you go.
Let's see. Bobby Jackson says, if given the choice between Eddie Murphy, Chris Rock, and Chris Tucker, which would you want to see in the next Ocean's movie? I have.
That's a good one.
But there you go. Take it away.
I got to say, that is really hard.
It is, right?
Because we've seen Chris Rock was in Lethal Weapon 4. I love Chris Rock, but I think he's a little too... I don't think he would fit in with the Ocean's crew. And Eddie Murphy's Eddie Murphy. I'm going to go Chris Tucker.
Okay.
I'm going to go Chris Tucker only because I think that he could craft a character that would work well. Look, they all could do great work. But I do think that Eddie Murphy might take away from Brad Pitt and George Clooney leading that group.
Yeah.
Unless that's what they wanted.
That leads me to my thoughts on that, because I think Eddie Murphy as the antagonist.
Yeah, 100%.
And he gets all that, 100%. I don't know, guys, if you have never watched Fargo, the series on Hulu, please do so. I highly recommend it. There's 5 seasons right now. I just finished season 4 because I'm catching up.
Is that the Chris Rock season?
Chris Rock is in it. He's a 1950s gangster.
It's
Dude,
great.
Ben Whishaw is, if you never thought Ben Whishaw could be a tough guy, he's an Irish mobster. Kills it. But I could also see Chris Rock as a serious like antagonistic role.
Oh, yeah.
But if there was one person that I want on the team, it's Chris Tucker.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
dude, you saw Air. I loved him in Air.
Loved. He was so... Air is great.
Yeah.
I loved Air, but you were absolutely right. And I think Chris Tucker... The thing is, I think Chris Tucker has the ability to become... Both Chris Rock and Eddie Murphy have such distinct personas. Plus, I would love to... What was the movie, the Jonah Hill movie, where Eddie Murphy was the daughter's father?
Oh my gosh, I never saw that, but I know what you're talking about.
He was great. I would love to see...
Is it like Guess Who's... It was like Guess Who's Coming to Dinner, sort of.
But I would love to see Eddie Murphy just as playing a villain.
Called You People.
You people.
Yeah.
I loved Eddie Murphy in that. Eddie Murphy as the antagonist in Ocean's 14. Bring it on. Bring it on.
There you go.
And then Chris Tucker is part of the team.
Yeah.
Let's make that happen.
Yeah, I agree. Abraham says, I present to you the next Barbenheimer, Companion Dogman. No? Oh, well. I'm doing a double feature tonight, watching Dogman and Companion back to back. Dude, don't do that. That's how you spark time travel. You'll never get back if you do that. And the best thing, both of them are being shown in Dolby, and I'm seated in the same seat twice. I love that. That feels like when you have like a season pass somewhere. Like,
yes,
it's such a nice feeling when, like, I used to have a membership to the LA Phil at the Walt Disney Concert Hall.
Yeah,
I always had the same seat, and it's just a nice feeling to that.
It is. I love that. I think they should do that. That's the next evolution of AMC A-list.
Where you have
your seat. Yeah, your
every
seat.
time.
Yeah. But how would they know which show you're going to go to?
Yeah, exactly.
How would they know?
But do you have a go-to spot real quick for AMC, or in any theater? Like,
yeah, I do. I try and sit toward the middle, just off center on the right.
Okay,
just a little bit off center.
If I'm in the Prime or a Dolby, I always go for row J because that's the row with a big aisle.
Oh yeah.
It's like middle way, and I go about J7, J6, J9.
In the Chinese, I always sit in row N or M.
I like the Chinese. If you can get the front row of the first section before the middle, is perfect.
That's great.
If you can't, then the last row of the next behind the mid section aisle.
The Chinese seats a lot of them are broken.
Yeah,
they're sprung.
I know, dude. I went and saw on IMAX Dune 2 there, and I saw Stop Making Sense there, which was incredible.
Oh yeah,
and the seats are just like.
Yeah, they're all sprung. They need to fix all the seats. They renovated the theater. They excavated and reopened it in 2015. It's time for a seat change.
Yeah,
Chinese theater. Let's do that. Make it happen.
Go. All right, Abraham. We just read this. Let's move up. Super combo. I've recently seen several vocal fans claiming that Superman will lose $150 million in the box office due to our efforts online. I wondered what you might think of this, and have we ever seen anything like this before for other films? Yes, unfortunately.
Why would anybody want a film? First of all, here's what I don't understand, and I've been having this battle on my X feed about the Snyder films and James Gunn's movie. Look, I have maintained that just because you really like something, actually, you know where I got this? There's a great Miramax, an early Miramax film called Pastime it's about minor league baseball, and Glenn Plummer's in it, and William Russ is in it, and Noble Williams is the coach, and it's about an over-the-hill pitcher whose time has passed and he's going to be supplanted by a younger pitcher. But Noble Williams' coach says one of the truest things I've ever heard, and he says, just because someone else is great at something, it doesn't mean you are any better or any worse. Mm-hmm. So if you love the Snyderverse movies, fantastic. We have been big supporters of Henry Cavill as Superman on this channel. There's a life-size Superman of Henry Cavill right there. There's a hot toy figure of my Henry Cavill right there. We love Henry Cavill as Superman. Now, that said, I think James Gunn, the 3 Guardians of the Galaxy movies, the first one, $750 million, and the next 2 grossed even into the $800 millions, has made 3 movies, a trilogy that is beloved by all. I think that James Gunn's going to do something totally different, certainly very different from what Snyder did, probably very different than what Richard Donner did with Superman, and different than what Bryan Singer did with Batman or Superman Returns. I think that what he's going to do with this Superman movie is going to be new and fresh and original. And I do not understand why somebody who's made 3 Guardians of the Galaxy movies doesn't deserve at least our respect. And what does Superman represent? Hope. Mm-hmm. That S is representing hope. I don't understand why anyone who's a fan of the character of Superman, and I've been watching Superman, I grew up with George Reeves. There's Christopher Reeve and George Reeves. I love the 50s adventures of Superman. Loved it. And I think that any Superman fan should hope. Look at that S and hope. Let your heart be filled with hope that this next upcoming Superman movie is great.
These are the antagonists that think they're the good guys from their point of view.
You're right. That's right. Their point, and it's. I don't get it, man.
Yeah.
I don't understand. What if it's great? What if it's the best Superman movie ever made? I'm not saying it is. I'm not saying it isn't. I have not seen it.
Right.
So I've seen 2 minutes of footage.
I like what I've seen.
Me too. Bring on crypto and that puppy boy.
What you said reminds me of something I heard once. You don't have to snuff out other people's candles for yours to shine bright.
That's right.
So there you go.
And as Chris Carr would say, why do you got to yuck my yum?
Yep. All right, moving on. Matan, he's got I think he says 2, but I think it's 3. Okay. How do you think they will approach the Fantastic Four film after First Steps? The post-Secret Wars status might clash in character building with the retrofuturism of First Steps if they're keeping the same cast. My shitty and highly illogical idea to how they're going to approach is that the new Fantastic Four cast is only First Steps. Downey's paycheck 1 and 2, and after that, you're so cynical, Matan. And after that, there will be a hard reboot for the entire MCU with almost everybody recast like DC. I only base my really bad idea I suggested on the fact that Pedro Pascal is now older than RDJ was in 2008, so he might. I think it means might not be able to carry the franchise, or might be able to carry the franchise for less time. What say you?
I think not. I think look, they're going all in on Fantastic Four. They're positioning the they're positioning.
Shadow disagrees.
Shadow disagrees. They're positioning the Fantastic Four to be, I think, the first family of the MCU. They're not going to do a hard reboot. The thing about the MCU is that part of its appeal is that it can go forward, it can grow and change, and heroes can come in and come out. And remember, the MCU in 2028 is going to be 20 years old. And as far as film franchises go, I don't think there's ever been one that is as successful or as long running as the MCU has been already. And so I think that the reason they cast the people they cast in the Fantastic Four, I know a lot of people would have not picked Pedro Pascal to be Reed Richards, but I think they know something that we don't. And I think, Matt Shakman, who's directing it, directed WandaVision. I think that it's going to be something. I'm hoping it's going to be something special, but they're not going to do a hard reboot after Secret Wars. They are going to be able to change things and give us the X-Men. And I don't know how they're going to change things, but they're not going to reboot the Fantastic Four after Secret Wars. I guarantee you they're not going to do that. They're going to at least make 3 movies if they're successful with this first one. Mm-hmm. So.
All right, moving forward, DJ Info says, 4 episodes into Shrinking, and OMG, I didn't listen to you. I don't know why I didn't listen to you earlier. I love it. It's so good. Only downside is I have to wait for my girlfriend to finish Beast Game episode before I can put it on. I'm told I have to wait. Well, hey, listen, you have to wait.
Remember what I always say, ladies first.
There you go.
You can never go wrong with that philosophy in all walks of life and everything you do, right?
All right, 3 relevant quotes. Finally built the Lego Baradur set I got for Christmas. How long did it take? Well, in the time it took, I watched Sonic 3, Eternals, The Man from U.N.C.L.E., Underwater, Top Gun Maverick, Edge of Tomorrow, Warcraft, War of the Rohirrim, little Lord of the Rings theme there, Overlord, and Twister.
That's a long Lego set. That Baradur set's way cool though.
Yeah,
I have to finish my Dune Ornithopter.
Oh, I remember when you bought that.
I haven't finished it yet.
Get on it.
I just stopped in the middle.
The team got me like a couple years ago because I was really bummed because I wanted to get that Jazz Inc., the Batman.
Yeah.
And I actually jumped on the wait list, and I'm like, I'll never get selected. And then I did, and I'm like, I have to back out because I can't afford $1,500 for this.
You should have got it.
I cry all the time. I want that and the Jazz Inc. one that you have, and I want the 89 Batmobile. I think that one's Hot Toys, not Jazz Inc.
But Jazz Inc. made one, and it's better than
I want all 3. I want all 3. But I digress. I have no room for that or the money right now. But anyway, the guys got me the Batman, the Battinson Batmobile Lego set, which is amazing. It's the one where the amazing. Pistons work and everything.
Yeah.
So I can relate because I went through and I had already seen a lot of them, obviously, but I started from Mission Impossible 1 on my lunch breaks and went all the way through the one with Henry Cavill. So I know it takes a while. And
I love this game. How many movies did it take you to get through this Lego set? I want to get the Eiffel Tower.
There's nothing better, in my opinion, than watching movies and putting Legos together. It's therapeutic.
It is therapeutic. It is therapeutic. Yeah, I want every time I see that Titanic too.
Oh man,
I want that Lego Titanic.
You got to play the music.
I know. My heart will go on.
All right.
If I finish that Lego set.
Rob, the other Rob, Buck, says, hey, crew, speaking of a 6'5", 250 plus nerd. I have never felt more seen as I have every time I watch that Superman trailer. Clark's awkwardness is my daily life, so it makes me smile every time I see him get in the crowd. Yeah, on his way to work, and he's just trying to be a gentle giant.
I like that. I can see that. 6'5", man, 250. That's not bad. That's good. That's good. I mean,
You know what he gets? You know what Rob gets all the time? Do you play basketball? That's what I guarantee you hear that in your life. I'm going to tell you about your own life because I know it. Because if I get asked that and I'm 6'1", you definitely get asked that.
Yeah, it's good.
Rob, the other Rob Buck, says, also file this under, it would be cool if it happened. But I personally think when Soups tells Crypto to take him home, that the super pup is going to take him all the way to the Kent farm. Well, he'd have to cross oceans, but we've already seen... Well, actually, no. He'd just have to go down through Canada. We've already seen them on the moon. He can make the trip.
I agree. Let Crypto be Crypto. I want to see Crypto fly. Although, you know what, though? In a live-action film, it would be a little cumbersome to see Crypto flying with Superman. Because, he'd be dangling Superman. It would be... I mean, it would be interesting. Maybe we'll see that. I don't know. I just love the fact that Crypto is in this movie, which should tell you something. That's already way different. Zack Snyder would never put Crypto in a movie. Come on. That alone makes it worth watching.
He'd be a demon dog.
Yeah, he would be.
With a $20 tip, thank you so much, Logan Stone. Hey guys, which of the 3 MCU films coming out this year do you think will have the biggest opening weekend, and which will have the highest box office total? I had to think about the second one. I think biggest
For $20, by the way. Thanks, Logan.
I think the biggest box office opening is going to be Captain America, just because it's tracking so well. I don't think a lot of people really know who Thunderbolts are just yet.
Right.
And Fantastic Four, we'll see, but we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, look, I know everyone. There's a lot of within the film pundit space because we've been covering all the reshoots, and Brave New World is basically a year late. So there's a lot of darkness surrounding that in fan circles. But I do think, remember, take us out of the equation. I think the rest of America might be interested in going to see that movie. The Captain America movies have always done well, and we'll see. I know it's changing cast, but it is tracking well, like you said, because remember, most of the people are not up on the controversy on how many times the movie's been reshot or things like that. So I think you're probably right. I think I'm gonna go with the biggest opening is going to be Brave New World, because I have no sense of Fantastic Four at all. I have no, and I think Thunderbolts, because it's not as well known. There's no way that Thunderbolts is going to make more money opening weekend than Captain America.
I think he takes both.
He takes both. Yeah, you're probably right. Unless Thunderbolts is great and Brave New World isn't. But I mean, look, I don't want to root against a movie that has Harrison Ford as the president of the United States who turns into a Red Hulk. As much as it
hard
might
to do that, right?
Yeah, I mean, as much as people are going to be like, but he's not a super soldier. Can his Wakandan armor? Is that a reason enough why he can stop a blow directly from the Red Hulk? I don't know, but I want all three of these movies to be good.
Technically, though, that same shield blocked Mjolnir.
That's true.
So there you go. But yeah, I think he takes both. But then again, you mentioned something. So if those two movies are actually really good, Thunderbolts and Captain America, and they make a lot of money, that's going to be a lot of swell moving into Fantastic Four.
Yeah, and especially if we get some kind of like the end of Thunderbolts, there's a post-credit scene that leads into Fantastic Four.
Maybe Sentry opens up something with his great power. Who knows?
I'm willing to bet at the here's a prediction. I know nothing. I really don't. I don't know anything about this. I'm willing to bet we're going to see Galactus at the end of Thunderbolts.
Oh, really?
Yeah, in a post-credit scene somehow. Because remember, Galactus is a Celestial. So and we've already had Arishem the Judge in the Eternals come and say, "Hey,
you're going to be judged."
And,
wait a minute. So do you actually think instead of devouring, this is a judgment?
I think that could be our judgment.
That
Galactus is coming to eat the Earth.
To devour it, but it's based on a judgment.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I think
not just a pure hunger, but a judgment.
No, because remember, they're dealing with the Celestial coming out of, people have said, I haven't seen the movie, but apparently adamantium
is
out of the hand. So they're bringing that idea of the Celestial Earth being judged.
Okay.
That's what I think. Again, I don't know anything, but it makes sense.
I think the only thing that could hurt Captain America, in my opinion, right now, is that I want it to be a lot like Winter Soldier, where it's a lot of intrigue, political intrigue, but it's feeling a little crowded now because it's the Hulk, it's political intrigue. I know surrounding Adamantium, but then if we're also taking in Celestials, does this become too cluttered of a movie? I don't know. We haven't seen it. It may be none of those things.
Well, I think Brave New World's only going to deal with the political fallout.
and good,
you
I
know.
hope.
But I do think this is all three of these. These two movies are going to somehow, because that's what the MCU's been missing.
Right.
Forward thrust.
A link.
Yeah, and if you can create the look, we saw the Arshem the Judge over the skies of Earth, and people are like, just another Tuesday. But I mean, I think now we're going to deal with this in probably Thunderbolts. Thunderbolts and Captain America: Brave New World are going to have some kind of interconnectivity because of the political fallout or ramifications that's going to lead into Galactus coming to Earth. So that's my
Hot take.
And
go.
maybe the end of Brave New World will have Galactus. Don't know, but I think we're going to see Galactus, hence the Fantastic Four. But I could be wrong, and people can be like, you didn't know what you were talking about, Bob.
Yeah. Will they be memeable movies, though?
They're going to be memeable.
There we go.
Brave New World. You've got to do better. You've got to do better, Galactus.
Captain America, Brave New Meme. All right.
There you go.
We got Boimler says, Rob, since you're here for the whole show, what did you think of the Lower Decks finale, basically making the Star Trek Discovery alternate universe? People noted that Strange New Worlds is canon since the Enterprise looks different in that than in Discovery.
Well, here's the thing. Strange New Worlds is real. Lower Decks is animated. Simple as that. Animation isn't real. I know. Brandon's going to write me, animation is real and it's for everybody. I know. No,
It is for everybody, but
it is for everybody.
It's a different,
No, here's the thing. I thought it was interesting. I thought it was funny, but you can't, I mean, look, Lower Decks is a farcical show. And the idea that people say, well, it's canonical. Everything that happens is canonical. I could go through every episode of Lower Decks and tell you why it's not canonical. I don't think that whatever happens in Lower Decks has decanonized both Discovery and Strange New Worlds. I do that alone in my mind. I didn't need a TV show to tell me that they're not canon. But yeah, I mean, Strange New Worlds has already, within Strange New Worlds, it's already wantonly changed Star Trek canon willy-nilly. The eugenics wars, the Gorn. I mean, it bears no, it cannot possibly be in continuity with the original series. So how do I feel about it? Well, I feel about it the same way I felt about all Star Trek since 2017, with the possible exception of Picard season 3. Not much. Although I will say, I liked Prodigy, and I do enjoy Lower Decks, but I don't consider Lower Decks canonical Star Trek. So I can't sit there and go, Lower Decks has just decanonized these things. They can't decanonize things that aren't canon anyway. That's what I say.
There you go. We got Aran B. This is for you as well. Hey, Rob, missed you being on the show. Are you coming to the UK anytime soon? Would love to see you. Also, does your channel have a set schedule? Would you move into doing YouTube stuff with Chris and the gang?
Because here's the reason that I left the John Campea Show, to get this clear, is I've been working on True Noir, this big project. I started working on it in May, at the end of May of 2004, and all through the summer I was recording all of our actor voices and started putting the show together. So it was an enormous undertaking. It's 10 episodes. It's over 5 hours long. And that's why I left, to go produce the show. So, I love coming back. It's been so much fun. I get to work with this guy again. I mean, Jonathan Voico, the only experience I had working with anybody at the John Campea Show was sending him episodes of Designing Hollywood.
Right.
That he would get up whenever I asked him. He's very diligent.
Yep.
So it's great to be back here. And as for my own show, I'm only trying to scooch in Robservations when I'm not editing. But that is going to be, I will be probably totally done with the production aspect of True Noir next week, and all I have to do is mix the final episodes and then create the Kickstarter perks and things like that. So I'll be free to have a much more regular schedule for Robservations. And I would love to work with John and Chris. Chris is actually in True Noir.
Yeah.
She plays the main love interest of, and for those of you who don't know, True Noir, my audio drama, stars Michael Rosenbaum from the Inside of You podcast, who played Lex Luthor on Smallville. And you have actors like William Sadler, who was in Shawshank Redemption, who was the villain in Die Hard 2. He played Death in Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey. But Chris plays Marianne Beam, the love interest and a client of Michael's. And Michael Rosenbaum and Chris Carr act together in True Noir. And the acting, you know all the actors. Katie Sackhoff is in True Noir. So it's great. You can go to truenoir.co, no M, truenoir.co and check it out. But I would love, I love working with, I do collabs with all kinds of YouTube people, and I love doing it. They're the only people I see. I have no more friends. I just sit in my office and my studio, and all I do is edit True Noir and talk on YouTube. So the more the merrier. That's what I say.
There you go. It's the wave of the future. Film Buff Rich says, how about this idea for dealing with a dinosaur like James Bond? Readapt the original Fleming novels as period pieces in the late 50s and 60s. Here's the problem, though. Then you're just redoing movies that have already been done. Yeah. And those movies were done in the 60s, a lot of them.
Yeah, they were made at the time.
Yeah.
I mean, look, I don't think that some of Fleming's novels, like Moonraker, is a very different kind of story than the actual Moonraker movie they made, but they're also products of the time in which they were made. I mean, I could see doing James Bond for Amazon. Maybe what they need to do is do a book a season and take the old Fleming novels and expand them, make them period pieces, and make Dr. No a 10-part, 10-hour-long series. I mean, that could be something that would satisfy Amazon. But then again, why do that if you've already made Bond movies? But now look, there's a Presumed Innocent movie that stars Raul Julia and Harrison Ford, and it's great. Well, then David Kelly made a Presumed Innocent 8-episode series with Jake Gyllenhaal. Maybe that's the way to go. I don't know.
All right, here's our last tip before we go to our member questions. Stubble McShave, I don't know what Bond is now. Will it be a lesser Mission Impossible film? Will it embrace aspects of what's satirized by Austin Powers? During the Cold War, he was a Cold War agent. Maybe he should stay dead. Thoughts on setting Bond in a period piece? Well, we just kind of answered that. You could do a period piece, but I wouldn't want them to just straight up redo the books because we've done that.
Yeah, and I just think, I think it would be harder to do. I mean, look, I love Man from U.N.C.L.E.
The problem is real quick, the problem that I'm foreseeing, though, is we like him for the gadgets, and if all of our gadgets are going to be 60s-era gadgets, we're going to be like, that's quaint.
Yeah, how do you do a Bond film? You don't have cell phones. You don't have, I think that's part of the problem with the character is that the world, I think, has passed James Bond by. I mean, we now have the megalomaniac, people in the world. Elon Musk, like him or hate him, and I'm actually a fan of Elon Musk. I mean, he would build a rocket launching platform inside a volcano. Like, we live in that world now. He can land rockets on barges at sea. And when we saw that first in You Only Live Twice in 1967, having a rocket like that could fly up, steal spaceships, and land seemed novel. But today, it's par for the course. And so what do you do when the world is full of people like Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk and all the other people? It's how do you do that? And I think that's part of the problem with the Bond films. Who do you go after when we live in the world? We live in a sci-fi world now. I don't know.
There you go. All right, we're going to switch over to our member questions here, guys. These come from our channel members who, like I said, I put up a post every morning for our members and say, hey, you got any questions? Throw them in here, and that's what we do. King Daddy Goat is first and says, hey, crew, hope you've warmed up. John, haha, with Bloody Disgusting, reporting that the Faculty remake is in the works by the studios that brought...
That's the movie that the companion director...
So Faculty?
Yes.
Dude, was that not with the Faculty?
It was with everybody. Everybody was in the... Elijah Wood's in the Faculty.
Okay, Elijah Wood, and he had that great line where the coach was like wanting him to run. He's like, I don't run unless I'm being chased.
Right. Yeah. Yes. So
I like the Faculty.
The writer-director of the Faculty has been tapped to... Robert Rodriguez is producing it, and he is... I want to say his last name is Hancock or something, but I don't think that's it. Hickman, Hancock, it's not neither one of those things. But if you like Companion, I love the script for Companion, so I think that the choice of him writing the new Faculty is a great choice. And Robert Rodriguez is producing. I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up directing and writing that Faculty reboot. But I'm excited.
All right. We got Mr. Borquez says, hi, guys. I went to see Wolfman last night. It's a nice, short, scary little movie. It's not The Invisible Man, but it was still good.
That's good. I like the fact that I wonder if he's going to go through all of the classic Universal monsters. So he's done Invisible Man, he's done Wolfman. Is he going to do Frankenstein, and is he going to do Dracula, and maybe Abbott Costello meet Frankenstein? Who knows? I like Lee Winnell a lot, though. I think he's a really talented filmmaker.
All right. The Brandon Salad says, I'm very excited. Squid Game 3 is coming sooner than I expected. Had an absolute blast with the second season. Favorite new character from season 2? I don't know. No spoilers, though. But
The front man.
there you go.
The front man is easily my favorite. That guy's a badass.
I mean, at this point, I'm not even calling this season 3. It's season 2, part 2.
Yeah, 2.5.
Yeah, 2.5. I mean, I do like that we're getting it. It's cool that it's coming 6 months earlier. I don't expect that, but I do expect Silo, something like that, better come every year.
Yeah.
The Severance season 3 had better be a year from now, not 2 years or 3 years from now. They need to have consistency or else people just drop off.
I agree.
Scotty doesn't know, says, do you think in the new Thunderbolts trailer we'll see Sentry in action in the suit?
Yeah, I don't know.
We
Probably.
gotta know what it's about.
Yeah, we don't, they really haven't told us. I think what's really interesting is the Thunderbolts trailer, other than putting the team together, we know very little about what the movie is actually about. Like, what are they doing?
Right now, it's very much like the early, the first trailer for Guardians.
Yeah.
We got introduced to the Guardians and their attitude and the tone of the movie, but we didn't know anything about the Collector and the whatever that guy was named. Why can't I think of his name? The Judge.
The Arishem, but he wasn't in it.
No, not Arishem. He has the scepter and all that. Why can't I think of, he had the
Ronan, the
Ronan.
accuser.
Yeah. The accuser. Yeah. So we didn't know about that till like maybe the second trailer.
Yeah,
or so.
yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I'm curious. I mean, like, if Sentry's in the movie, we're going to see him in the suit.
Yeah.
And I look forward to that. But the Sentry could just wipe the floor with the Thunderbolts. So how's that going to work?
Right. All right. We got Brennan here. We got just a couple more questions. Brennan says, hey, John and crew, is there any film or television property that you wish would get a reboot treatment? Maybe one that wasn't done properly or wasn't well received when it first came out. So, well, film, I would love... I'm on the same wavelength as John on this one, but I didn't get it from John. I got it originally, but I would love another Last Starfighter.
Oh, yeah. You could do a lot with that now, especially with video games being, and the special effects. That'd be cool. Or you could even do a follow-up to Last Starfighter and have it in universe the way they did Cobra Kai.
There you go.
I'd love to see
I mean, a remake, it's hard to say because a lot of the old series, like miniseries, were period pieces anyway, a lot like Shogun. But man, maybe like something like I don't know, man. Maybe like a Lonesome Dove or maybe like a North and South. But people aren't into Civil War like history anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and having just watched American, what's it called? The show about the Utah Wars, the Mormons. American. I just watched it. Why am I drawing a blank on it's American Nightmare? No, it's whatever that was with Tim Riggins with Taylor Kirsch.
That one thing, American Primeval.
Primeval. That show is dope.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen it, and by the way, everybody should watch Paradise, but don't read anything about it. Don't. You know what? I'll tell you. There's two things. If I had all the money in the world, I would remake my favorite anime of all time, which you can actually find. Somebody put all 110 episodes. It's a really hard anime to see. It's called Legends of the Galactic Heroes. And as somebody put it, it's more like reading a college textbook than an anime. Yes, it is. It's more like war. It's more like the Prussians versus the French in space. It's called Legends of the Galactic Heroes. I'd remake that. But my favorite thing that I would remake if I was given there's a science fiction show that was made by Jerry Anderson, who made the Thunderbirds. He made it before he made Space 1999. It's his first live action show. It runs 26 episodes. It's called UFO. And UFO is even with Bill Hunt, I wrote a proposal for a new UFO TV series that's in continuity with the original. The original takes place in 1980, but the show was made in 69 through 71, so 1980 was the future. But it takes place in a retro swinging London future. And I would go look up UFO on Facebook and just watch the opening credits, the opening theme song, and tell me you would not want to see a reboot of that show. It's great.
It's kind of funny because I've been batting around this idea of for YouTube. You said Space 1999. I want to kind of do a Space 1999 series and this sounds like a joke, but it's not, starring my cats and build sets around the cats.
Well, there's always there's those things where the cats are like driving Winnebagos and
All of that.
Because you could build those sets.
But I also want to have like serious overtones, but it's obviously silly too because they're cats. And I have enough to star, but we did just recently lose one, and he would have been the elderly, like almost like
would it actually be Space 1999? You'd use Eagle transporter models because you can get all those.
Yeah. It would be very inspired by that, and inspired by what was it you said before? Space 1999. It was the puppet one too.
Thunderbirds.
Thunderbirds.
Yeah, Thunderbirds. Like
Very Thunderbirds.
Team America was totally based on all the Jerry Anderson stuff.
Yeah.
By the way, my friend Jeffrey Morris is making he's made a documentary called The Eagle Obsession. That's all about why we were all as kids obsessed with Eagle transporters from Space 1999. And it looks amazing. That's another thing. Go to YouTube and look up the Eagle Obsession trailer. Or I don't know if it's on YouTube. Probably is. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, you'll see. Or as Elizabeth likes to say, why do you have so many of those bug ships? You can never have too many Eagle transporters in multiple scales.
All right. Our final question here is from Mark W. and says, Mark W. and says, hi, John and crew. And we kind of already answered this, but which do you think will make the most money, Cap or Thunderbolts? So my easy answer is Cap 4.
Yeah.
But it doesn't have Chris Evans, okay? And Thunderbolts has characters that we know too, but they're like the B team, right? I think actually Cap 4 does make more, but I think if it's good, it enables them to get around the same box office level.
I agree. I agree. Now, let me ask you a question. We've seen Anthony Mackie as Captain America. Mm-hmm. We've seen Harrison Ford as Red Hulk. Mm-hmm. Are there any other heroes from the MCU that are going to show up in this movie? Do you have any? Have you covered that? Does anybody know?
We haven't really speculated on that directly.
There must be. There can't just be one Captain America in there can't be.
Get a Rhodey appearance?
I don't know. I would think Rhodey, Doctor Strange. I
don't think you're going to get.
Who's on the lunchbox?
I think Strange is off universe right now.
Oh yeah, that's right. He went with Charlie.
And I don't think we get a bigger like heavy hitter like that. But could this lead into a? Why can't she leads up Thunderbolts?
It's Julia Louis-Dreyfus. Yeah, I mean,
could we get that time because it's still a political intrigue and tying into Thunderbolts? But she's not a superhero. But here's the thing: we really have only seen the same shots over and over.
I know that's all we've seen. Is that like if the Celestial? Are we going to see the Eternals? Is there going to be an Eternal in this movie?
They're going to be like, "You're mining my son."
Yeah, I mean. The Eternals did bring up the Avengers. I could be an Avenger. They're still on the Earth, aren't they?
Or Celestials. I mean,
which Eternals left at the end?
Okay, we could see. We might be able to. Yes, because they were directly involved, and we did have. Was it not in Shang-Chi where we had the one Eternal? I can't think of his name. He was the Indian actor.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
We could end up getting some Eternal.
I mean.
But I also feel like Kevin Feige's trying to mind wipe everybody from Eternals.
But I like. Look,
I did too.
I like Eternals.
I felt like it was a little too cluttered. I know I'm diverging here, but they didn't need those demon dog things. They could have just had it was a little too cluttered with who's the bad guy. Too many bad guys.
That didn't really work. The deviants didn't. It didn't work. It didn't work.
That was my main issue with it. But whatever. All right, so look. That's it. We've answered all your questions. That'll do it. Take us out.
And that'll do it for this episode of the John Campea Show. You can go listen to the John Campea Show podcast whenever you want, wherever you get your podcast from. What else am I supposed to say? I'm not usually here now. I don't know what John usually says at the end of the day.
We want to thank, of course, Rob for filling in today for John. Obviously, like we said, he had to go to Canada for some family issues to take care of. He will be back soon. In the meantime, I've been your captain, Jonathan Voico, and obviously our wonderful star of the show, Mr. Robert, the best Robert of them all, Meyer Burnett.
Co-pilot. By the way, our hopes and dreams go out to the families that suffered great loss in Washington, D.C.
Yes, absolutely.
So, that was a terrible, terrible occurrence. Mm-hmm. But, yeah, I mean, it's been great to be back. It's fun to work with you. It's strange to be here.
A strange new world.
It's a strange, it's a whole new world.
I know.
But it's been great. I want to thank everybody for their ongoing support via tips and sending in great questions. And please, be gentle about me in the comments. Don't roast me. No, you can roast me. I can take it. Criticism's always a good thing. You learn from it. But thank you all for being here.
All right, guys. We'll see you soon.